To Get With the Programming, I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grundler. Wolverine. I was going to say, like, happy something, but then, like, no. There wasn't a date. I had a busy weekend.
Yeah, you were actually a little quiet this weekend.
So my son, who's 7, had a end-of-season lacrosse tournament Saturday morning at 9, of which I was coaching. Still have no business coaching lacrosse, but, you know, here we are.
They're 5.
And that was 9 to noonish. And then Blake, my daughter, had her last soccer game at 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hot, and you could tell. You know, she's ginger, so like she can't regulate heat at all. And then my son had his school throws this overnight camp out once a year called Up All Night. And the way the school set up is like they've got the school, they've got the playground, and then they have this giant open field. And then across the street is this huge park. It's beautiful. And so what they do is like you basically just like buy a tent spot and you put up a tent in the field at the school, and the kids are up all night, right? Like around 10 o'clock or so, they're like, all right, everybody quiet down and go to bed. But then the dads just stay up and hang out. And it was great, but that was a long day.
Yeah.
I got a little sunburn, and you get like sunburn, you're just like, it just bothers you for the rest of the night. You're hot.
I really don't know that feeling.
Yeah, you don't. Remember when you used to get sunburn, Bill?
I just burned that stuff off one time ago.
And then, right. It's like Bill's not tan. That's just his skin color now.
Yeah.
And then my son had like a doubleheader baseball game on Sunday. So like I'm tired.
Yeah, dude, that was a lot. That was a lot of stuff.
It was awesome, but it was a lot.
I feel like my workout schedules are always very random. Like I don't have every Monday through Friday or every Monday at this time or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's either like when I have things going on, I usually can't get my workouts in. What's up, Laura? It's my athlete right there.
Oh.
And then or if I do have an opening, it's like I get them all in. So it'll be like I'll get 6 days straight, and then I won't get 6 days at all. It kind of goes that way. So Laura was super busy with her kids. They had spring break and stuff like that. So she was like
spring break.
The kids had spring break.
Wow.
Yeah. Dude, it's like a whole month out here. Like
in March.
No one can get it straight. Every district decides that they want to do it different. And so everyone's like, I'm going to do it this week. And everyone's just kind of dealing.
Is this your brother?
Because he's like, I never get to listen to you guys live. I always miss it. So he finally gets to listen to it.
James, if you do any slow-mo bullshit on us, I'm like forever afraid you're going to clip something, slow it down, and it looks like me and Bill have started an OnlyFans.
But so anyway, so Laura was busy doing that. I was coaching classes, and I got to work out. And dude, I love working out with like, I got to be really careful because I feel like I'm evolving or devolving myself to where I'm going to start working out like naked here in a bit. Because
Dude, I'm like you are like every 6 months, you have one less article of
I know. I'm playing like strip poker with myself. It's weird. But I did a whole, we did this workout at the gym where you do 40 double unders and you do 1 front squat. And you start off at like 50% of your 1 rep max. And you do 1 every time. You keep increasing 5% every single time. You do it for 18 minutes to get up as high as you can. And I was like, I really wanted to do it. I didn't get a chance to. So I did it on Saturday after the class was done. And I did it barefoot. And dude, I probably did like, I don't know, 9 rounds of 40 double unders. I probably only missed like 6 times. Nice. Barefoot, dude.
Yes.
I hit 295 on a front squat, missed 305. Which is cool. I was stoked.
40 and 1, and then you just go up and wait.
Just keep on going up and wait.
Got it.
And what I'm finding out with the whole barefoot thing, not that I think I'm some hippie guy or I'm trying to ground myself to the earth or
you and Asia Bartow.
Right. right. What I'm finding is it's putting more intentionality into my workouts. Like I was afraid. I have a speed rope. I'm afraid to do double unders barefoot.
Right.
Now I have to make sure that I don't miss, because if I miss, like everyone thinks like I'm going to wreck my toes. I'm going to split my, it's going to go in between my toes, whatever. I probably had one of my better, granted I'm very hit and miss.
Yeah.
But like putting more intentionality into my movements rather than just checking or rather than just going super fast or whatever. It's been really fun doing that. I did
That's
rope
really cool.
climbs. I did rope climb the other day. I had to do them legless because obviously I'm not going to do a leg lock with my feet. So
Right.
it's been really interesting. It's been fun.
Tyler says
It's fun.
the rare 6-on 6-off cycle.
But hey, man, sometimes
Hey,
you
get
just
ready,
gotta
bro.
get
You got a kid coming. Just
that's right. I was watching someone else, they were talking about like a Viking, lifting like a Viking. It's like, yeah, I don't have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday every second day. I just when I can work out, it's like, okay, I'll get it in. It's been
So
fun.
it's really funny how you're talking about being barefoot and actually getting better at double unders. When I swam in college, we did double unders in our dry land conditioning.
Yeah.
I'd never done it before, ever. Like I've jumped rope, but not a double under.
Yeah.
But we always did our dry land training circuits that were around the pool, not weightlifting, just barefoot.
Right.
We'd be in like our swimsuits. And so I had to learn double unders with the thin rubber.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like almost a cord.
Yeah.
And if that hits your foot, it was like a hammer.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't do a weighted rope with it at all. You know what I
No,
mean?
but like that's kind of what it wasn't a weighted rope, but it was just like that rubbery cord ropes, the classic ones, the cheap ones that they used to have. And obviously, that was in like 2004. But that's how I learned how to do double unders, was barefoot with a rope.
Probably why you're so good at them, dude.
And so when CrossFit came around and I started going to CrossFit, like, we're doing double unders, and I was like, oh, I can do that.
You're like, yeah, and
I was wearing shoes, and they gave me a speed rope, which was just like a regular Rogue rope, but it would rotate because those didn't rotate.
Right.
It was just so like pushed into the handle.
Yeah.
Like, this is fantastic. I love double unders.
So I don't know. And I didn't really think about that until after I did the double unders. I was like,
Interesting.
I wonder if, because you know how like double unders, like everybody wants to go super fast.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing large numbers of it, like you don't need to go super fast.
Yeah.
It's like you just don't miss. So like I make it to where I'm just not missing. And then the misses that I had, they weren't like bad. I mean, they were just like little ones. There was not one ow the entire time.
Yeah. Well, when you're not spinning it as fast as you can, it doesn't hurt as much, and the rope doesn't go everywhere.
So you mean you just can't like racquetball it like crazy? You gotta have a little finesse on the tent.
Well, see, you're opening up all these amazing things. One, I forgot about my college experience with how I picked up double unders. Two,
that's cool though.
Is I would tell this to my athletes all the time, is like, stop trying to do double unders faster.
Yeah.
Just think about the time you're spending on double unders. You go faster if you do them unbroken or in less breaks.
Yep.
You mess up more when you try to go too fast, out of control, and then the break is longer because the rope is hard to control.
And it's, dude, every single time I've ever stopped on double unders, I feel exponentially more tired and fatigued than I do if I'm just jumping the whole time.
Right.
Like, how is that possible? I don't understand.
And you're also exerting more effort for very little return. It's like trying to do wall balls or kettlebell swings faster.
Yeah.
The give and take.
Anyway.
But, that's cool.
Yeah, so I
have noticed the barefoot trend with you.
Yeah, it's just been fun. It's been fun.
Watch out. Bill's going to start an OnlyFans page where he's working out naked.
I don't know. I think with all the black on my feet from all the mats, I think Tyler's got me on that one.
There's there's a demographic for that.
Totally.
All right, folks, we are going to do the much talked about and anticipated analyzing the programming of the team semifinals online, which are already done. It's over. Now I don't know if I can say the video review is happening. The internal review is happening because there's no video mandated for submitting scores on the leaderboard. And I think that's an important distinction because it reads like there's no video needed to prove your performance. And that's not true. But there's no video requirements to submit your scores on the leaderboard. Which, if you're going to make them video to prove it, why not just put it on the...
They should have had it from the first step. I think
should have had it like the age groupers. The same thing will happen to the individuals. Throw it out there.
It shouldn't even be there should be no different. It should just be, here's what it is. You submit your score. You submit your video. Here's the link. Period. If you're gonna make that's the hard time I'm having here. If you're gonna make the step, make the step.
Yep. Yes.
Of course, they were probably afraid of the run, so that probably.
Yeah, true. Yeah, don't worry, we'll get there. All right. But we debuted a new scoring system for our analyzing shows. We've been doing these shows. I mean, this segment is what started the podcast 5 years ago, Bill.
Dude, that's crazy.
It was 5 years last month on the 23rd. I just forgot because
March.
Life.
That's right.
5 years.
That's wild.
That's crazy. Crazy, but instead of just doing a 2 thumbs up of whatever I feel like, we're trying to make it much more. The analyzing is still subjective, but there's an objective point system, and we go back and forth. So what it is every event will now start with a possible 10 out of 10. 10 being a perfect score, old school gymnastics style. Each event, we'll look at them by itself under a microscope with doing our best to not look forward or backward at the time and judge that event as it presents on paper and how we saw it unfold on the competition floor. Obviously, we don't know how it unfolded with the team stuff because it's in the affiliate, but there's a 0.1 deduction scale of minor tweaks, minor things, but we'll discuss why those. The next one is a 0.5. And then the next one is a 1.0. A 1.0 is basically like this was a miss event completely. Or, for example, we use as examples like no squats in the age group online qualifier. That's a 1 point deduction. That should never happen, but it did. Right. So as we go through this, we're going to talk through what is a 0.1 or does it be a 0.5, the whys, the whats, or it's all good to go. And then when it's all done, we've gone through each individual event. We'll do the broad overview of the collection of the events together. Because how often have we been saying, Bill, for 5 years is, I love this event by itself. And when you put them all together, I feel like one person submitted one event and nobody looked at them once they put them together. Mm-hmm. So that is the new system. Everybody confused? Great. Event number 1. Yeah, God, I still say workout. 5 rounds for time, 15 clean and jerks at 135 and 95. I think we agree is it. We like the weight designations to men and women. We'll talk about the weight for the actual workout and how it's presented. Male-female pair. So Bill and I are a pair. We've got our 2 females. We have to finish 15 clean and jerks together. Same with the women. When we are both done, our pairs, we move to 20 synchro line-facing burpees. 5 rounds for time. Time cap's 15 minutes. The time domain was short. Most of your top times were sub 10. Very quick. Moderate volume. It's 175 total reps. 100 of those are just burpees off the floor. The weight was light. The scheme's a couplet, which just means it's 2 movements being programmed. And those modalities, gymnastics, weightlifting, and monostructural, it was a gymnastic movement coupled with a weightlifting movement. Now, for the teams, we look at these a little bit differently. Usually this would be movement patterns that are programmed on the individual side. From the team aspect, we look at what type of things were tested. One, is it a full team test? Or is it a weak link or a full team format and a weak link test, which means all 4 of us had to work together. That's what the programming dictated for this movement. That's a full team. What it's testing could be, if we're all synchro, well, okay, you see it's synchro work, right? If me and Bill are just sharing the 15 reps together, that's testing shared work. So as we go through the team stuff, we'll designate what was tested and what, or how it was tested and what it was testing, kind of a deal. So for example, the clean and jerks, it's paired shared work. The men work together with 15 reps, the women 15 reps. For the line-facing burpees, that is full team synchro work, but it's also testing the weak link of the team because you are hindered at the ability of your weakest link. So, I mean, people could say that for every event, but particularly here is that we can't go any faster except that one person who sucks at burpees or conditioning or whatever. And so that's what we call a weak link test. One thing we have seen over the years, especially in, say, like team quarterfinals, was the lack of teamwork dictated by the programming. It was very individualized, and they just kind of put the scores together, or it was you go, I go, but you don't get to pick what you do. That has gotten better over the years, I feel. What was that first year in 2021? We're like, what is this? No teamwork involved.
Right.
Next thing we have is just we'll map these things as they go. You've got a push, pull, hinge with the weightlifting pattern, right? Hinge from the floor, pull from the middle, press over your head. You've got mixed pairs in the format and a full team. Actually, you should rewrite that to same-sex pairs. See, this is why we test these things. Let's see. Same. Oh, I'll do that later. All right. Anyways. Yeah. Next slide. This is where the fun begins. By itself, the big question that we had when we previewed these was the weight they're using for the reps that they have programmed. So 135 and 95. That's slowing no one down, let alone a pair of people. So where's the separation going to be?
Right.
Zero separation on the clean and jerks with the weight and the reps that they have programmed. Even if you share it, which makes it even easier, the separation is not going to happen on the barbell.
Not even close.
So then the question is, why is it even in there? The burpees will have separation. You got 5 rounds of 20. It's 100 total. It's full team synchro working together. Weak link test with a full team format. But what's going to like the other piece of this puzzle, this can't just be a line-facing burpee. Just make it 100 line-facing burpees then. The result will most likely be the same. So what do we look at here as far as a point deduction? Is it a 0.1, a 0.5, a 1.0? What are the reasons? And what would you change to improve what that deduction could be?
So I went back and forth on this because you're right. The first looking at the clean and jerk, it does nothing. It's a worthless movement. So if I'm looking at what we had before, I would say, okay, that's a 0.5, irrelevant movement. Or would it be that because of the weight that you pick, that now it's irrelevant? If the clean and jerks were 185, 135, okay. Honestly, 155, 105 would even change it more and make it matter a little bit more. But again, we're testing to get our top teams to the games straight out of here. So there needs to be an element of some weight, especially when we look at the other things that are across the board here. I think that's important to have the more weight. So I think that the movement, the way it's written, is irrelevant. Or if you went 185, 135, then now it's you picked the wrong weight. And so I think that changes it. So I think that, not that I need to add 0.5s to it. I think that for what it is, 0.5 is a good set for that. Mm-hmm. I do like that it is a weak link. Yes. I think because of the tempo, being under 10 minutes for everyone, it is going to really force the synchronization of the team and really test that. So I like that element of it.
Right.
So I don't really know. My initial instinct was I wanted to take a 0.5, maybe 0.1, or maybe 1 point because of the 0.5 on irrelevant
you were
movement
thinking
and the wrong
1
movement.
point.
But
yeah. Does that?
See, that's the hard part. That's what I don't know. I think for right now, I would go with 0.5 for this one event, and then we could come around and see what it fits in later. Mm-hmm. But that's where I would kind of sit on that, because as it's written, it's a cool workout, but it's not a good event, and it's not testing the people. We're testing burpees right now.
Right.
And that's it.
The easiest fix I see here is that you either add 5 reps with the weight that you have, and now asking one person to do 20 or 10, or 2 people to share 10 as fast as they can. There's at least more of an element in there than what's currently here. You'll get more out of the test if you increase the weight. right? 185 and 135 may be a touch. Well, here's the thing. We're
looking for the top
going
20.
to the CrossFit
Going to
Games.
the
So
CrossFit
yeah,
Games. That's what I
185
mean.
and 135. And if it's me and Bill and we're in our prime and we're in a team in the top 20 in the world, I'm doing 8 and Bill's doing 7. And then in the next round, Bill's doing 7 and I'm doing 8 or whatever that is. And that should be no problem. And it should become one by the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round.
Right.
Then we have to break it up even more. Great. Now you have shared work with same-sex pairs and strategy. And now you have to get yourself more tired, more focused, under fatigue to keep pushing the line-facing burpees because you can't take off the gas in the clean and jerks with heavier weight. And now you especially can't take the gas off the burpees because you're going to lose more time there than the other one anyways.
Right. And I just think that exponentially makes the workout better.
Oh, thanks, Eaton.
Eaton, what's up, dude?
$10 5-year birthday party. Forget what the programming. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's awesome. Yeah, but I mean, it drastically changes it. It drastically changes it. And
I don't think it's enough for a 1. I do absolutely agree it's a 0.5.
Well, that's where I'm saying I didn't know if 0.5 for sure. And it might end up looking that way once we get to the end of, okay, again, because I'm trying not to look ahead.
Right.
But like, did we test the top teams, or did we just see who was able to go fastest with this really light, easy stuff? You know what I mean?
Real Matthew has 180. Here's the other thing. 185 and 135 is the most programmed weight for online stage qualifications outside of the open. It's there for, go back and look since quarterfinals to start, 185 and 135 or 125. Please, no. They use that a lot.
I was shocked because, I mean, what do we say? Everyone is doing grace. And like, really,
Right.
we're going to make everyone race that? Come on.
Race grace, but you can't race grace with the fittest people in the world. Then you just race range of motion or penalties. All right. I'm with 0.5.
Okay.
I don't give it a 0.1. If this was like...
Are we going to go 0.6? So 0.5 and a 0.1?
Nah, because it's like for that individual one. Clean and jerk weight.
All right.
0.5. Yeah.
I'm going to go for 0.5 right now. I think that I will add to it as
yeah, remember, we'll always retroactively come back and add if we need to. All right. Let's go to workout number 2, 75 synchro dumbbell cleans. So 2 dumbbells, everybody has them, 50s and 35s. And it's 3 people synchro with 1 person resting. 50 box jump overs in same-sex pairs. So Bill and I have a box. Our female pairs have a box, and it's follow the leader, or you go, I go. So that movement or those reps are fixed. Bill jumps, I jump. Bill jumps, I jump. And you are not allowed to change that. Then you go back to 75 shouldered overhead with the dumbbells. 50 box jump overs again. Finish to 75 synchro dumbbell thrusters. The weight's 24 and 20, which is great because we're not taking the weights over the box. So the box heights should be different because they are not weighted. Moderate time domain. So 12 minutes was about your average top time. Some were a little bit faster. Some were a little bit lower. Lucy Campbell. Hey, Lucy.
Yeah.
Congratulations, girl.
There you go.
Lucy Campbell in the chat. The newest or the winner of Wadland Fest and going back to the CrossFit Games for the first time since 2022.
Dude, that's massive.
After 2 years of working through her wrist. Yeah. Selfishly, I'm ecstatic, yet sad that I won't get to work with her at the games because she's also a fantastic broadcaster. But hopefully we'll hear her behind the mic. But we're so happy for you, Lucy. Congratulations.
That's badass.
Congratulations. That was awesome. That was great to watch. Weight is light, 50s and 35s. Scheme is a chipper. And then we have gymnastics and weightlifting for this. Let's see. We'll come back to this. Things being tested, right? We've got formats and tested. Trio synchro is a format, right? All 3 of you must be synchronized together. That's the format. You go, I go is something that's being tested, right? You go, I go. you go, I go. Versus say me and Bill was like, hey, just get 50 done.
Right.
However you want, that shared work. Same-sex pairs, that's a format. Weak link is a test. Weak link is what was tested when you're trio or working with synchro, because even though you get to sub somebody out, you're still at the mercy at synchro work is the speed of your best or your, I would say, worst athlete. But
right.
those are the formats and those are the things being tested. What we had so far, same-sex pairs, team synchro. Oh, see, I fixed it.
There
Sweet.
you go.
I fixed it on the second slide. I knew I didn't have it that bad. Weak link twice. Weak link's very common. And again, you could put that at every single one if you want semantics, but these are the big glaring ones. Weightlifting overtaking the modalities right now. Gymnastics pattern, moderate short time domains. Okay. Now, individually, you're looking at this one, 75, 75, 75. That's, one person rotate in. Overall for me, again, oh man, I almost looked back.
I know. It's so hard.
Look back, sorry.
So hard.
Yeah, Lucy one day, but let's put that off for another 5 years. We'll do some off-season stuff together. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do off-season stuff. In-season stuff, you keep crushing. Off-season, I'll selfishly have you in the broadcast booth. By itself, I like this one a lot. There's a lot's being tested. 75 reps mixed through 3. It's not like everybody's just chilling. There's a lot of team strategy. The 50 in the you go, I go format, for me, if I had to put something out there, that's a 0.1. Because no one's getting tested here other than they're just getting tired. I feel like every element that's programmed, and we said this about the clean and jerks, has to have some effect on the workout other than, all right, like if me and Bill were doing this, and I've done this in competitions before, I'm just bored at this point. You jump, I jump. You jump, I jump, but I still get enough of a little break that I'm just kind of, all right, just let us know what number we're on. So for me, I have a 0.1 on the you go, I go on the box versus, say, a shared work that we had for the clean and jerks. But everything else I'm good with. By itself, I'm good with. What about you?
I do like I think it's important to have, you have teams, and so you definitely have to have some synchro stuff. I like that that they have a decent volume of the dumbbell work and not making everybody do it. Right. So it forces the team, because you have someone that could step out or that is out. You can rotate that person and basically keep that 75 moving, which I think is good, because there will be some strategies to that about how do we, when do we cycle in? And yes, there is, you got to play to your weakest link on that, but you can really hedge against it quite a bit by keeping them, by cycling, however you decide to do it. You're right. I don't know how I feel about the you go, I go on the box jump. I kind of wish they would have just let you go to push the team, unless it's almost a mandatory or a built-in rest, because you can only go so fast once you go, I go. Right. Like, I'm always resting.
It'd be like doing wall ball shots.
Totally. Like it will be that will be the easiest big set of wall balls that you've ever done. Right. Because you will always have a rest in there. So it does allow for the intensity of the dumbbell work to really stay high. And maybe that's the intent. As of late, I don't know if people are really thinking that deep as they're programming that kind of stuff. Well, this is kind of cool. Right. Rather than actually thinking it. So, but I agree. I think that the box jump over isn't really getting tested. It's just kind of there.
Now, if it was 30 and 24,
right,
I would pull back on that.
Right. Like, okay. Exactly. Because then it means something. It means
and it keeps it going, but it's not easy. So now the extra 6 to 4 inches.
Okay. Does that make it an irrelevant move though? Because no one's going to be doing it. No one's advancing. No one's beating really. Is it now an irrelevant movement
You
with
mean
that?
the way it's programmed now?
The way it's programmed right now.
Ooh.
Because you just said if it was 30 and 24, it would be a different race now because now that jump counts. And you're doing enough volume of that jump where it's nasty.
That's a good question.
So like part of me wants to go 0.5 on that. You wanted the 0.1.
I was waiting for Heidi to say something. I knew as I said extra 6 to 4 inches, I was just looking at you. Not that I've, stereotyped you, Heidi, but I love your consistency in your comments. That's a great question.
I'm going to go 0.5.
Oof.
I'm going to go with the irrelevant movement.
Dang. Yeah, because we just fixed it right there in 3 minutes. Yep. All right. And we're going to say box height.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And also, and here's why we're saying irrelevant movement. When you look at 75 synchro dumbbell cleans with 2 dumbbells between 4 people with 3 people working at a time, that is wildly different than 50 you go, I go box jump overs. And then shoulder overhead, the same. Yes, your legs, you're not getting a break for your legs, and then you go to like there is a world of difference between those 3 movements and this one. That's why.
Now, and there will be no change during that.
Yeah,
there will be no change.
Teams would separate on there. Here, it's like, hey, just make sure you go diagonally.
I mean, if you were to do it, take the box jumps out and just run the 75, 75, 75.
Yeah,
I bet you get the same race. You get the same results.
I agree. Overall, right? We're not going to speak in absolutes, but overall, yes. Adrian, that's a good one. Keep the height, clear the box. Yes.
Okay.
Right? Clear the box, right? And keep the you go, I go, because then you need it.
Right.
And now your transitions are even more important. They say maybe you have to go over the middle of the box. Nobody wants to jump diagonally over the box then.
No. But again, like, you have to think about the athletes that we're moving through this stage. This is not the open.
Right.
This is the gateway to the games.
Right.
So it has to mean something. It has to be where can these teams separate themselves? And they will not separate right now.
And Seth says clearing a 24-inch box isn't that hard. Not once, 25 times each, clearing it, and the effort that after 75 dumbbell power cleans and then push press and then like going to thrusters,
it's not that it's impossible by any means, but it's worth more than the way it is right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
Right. Yeah. Not clears for 30. Good Lord. Come on. Get real.
All right. 0.5.
All right. 0.5. Marked it down. Event number 3. This was the one where I was like, this is my favorite one. And then once I found out,
and then we messed ourselves.
And I found out more of the standards. I'm like, I hate this. This one's getting spite deductions. I'm just kidding. All right. Mixed pairs going side by side. 100 wall ball shots, 100 toes to bar, 100 calorie row, 100 toes to bar, 100 wall ball shots. 20 and 14 pound ball to 10 feet. Thank you. God bless you guys.
Nice job.
Finally, that's great. Great.
Golf clap.
Yeah. Good job. Shared work, male and females. We've had 2 same-sex pairings so far. Now we've done mix. 100 wall ball shots. We share it. Then we keep going. Toes to bar. We split that up. Row. We talked about it last time. Depending on how the format goes, there's really no reason to put a female on the rower unless you just need a breather and you're going to sacrifice time to do that. And then you work your way back to toes to bar. Now, when I first saw this, this is actually my favorite one.
The way it's written is amazing. Is awesome.
The way it's written is amazing.
Right.
Until I read the section of male and female pairs will go at the same time, and you cannot advance until your other male and female pair is done with their work. And I'm like, so why are we? So
why even have both pairs?
Why
go?
even have? Yeah, why don't just make it 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, and just share the work together, or make it 150 each and make it synchro. Don't do a wall ball shot synchro, Lord help, but. And now you're just at the mercy of your slower pair. Mm-hmm. And in order to make sure that everything is equal, you don't get to highlight the fitness level of your best pairs. Because, all right, we're just going to wait for these two the whole time. Or we need to split up our two best athletes with our two weakest athletes to make sure that we're not as slow if we just had a slowest person there. Versus pair one, go as fast as you can. When you're done, tag pair two, and then you just total time it and race. And we don't have that.
What if you would have had, you have your two pairs go, and you take the average of the two pairs. So you're not waiting for anyone. That way you can decide, okay, we can put our two best people together, and hopefully our two worst aren't that slow or aren't that far off, or we can try to even them up as much as we can, but you let everybody race. Like at that point, everyone races and everyone's scores count.
Yeah.
Your fastest people get to unload and get out there as far as they can. Right. Your slowest people they aren't holding anybody up necessarily. They can go as far as they can, and then you can kind of blend, and then all of a sudden it's a team counted score. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the way they have it up like this, it takes the beauty of what we're seeing right here on the screen,
right,
and then just going, and there it goes.
And there's not going to be a whole lot of separation at the level that we're testing for. 20 teams around the world to the CrossFit Games. It doesn't matter what our pairs are, really. There's not going to be a huge, we're not going to go 30 seconds faster than the other pair in wall ball shots. But we might go 10. Right? But our ability to go faster is now negated by our handcuffs to weight.
Because we can't move.
Yeah. So that being said, I still like everything about this, just that one part. That one part. I love the combo of movements. I really enjoy a good wall ball, toes to bar, row movement pattern. You've got squat and a press with the ball, which we'll bring up on deductions. Then you have toes to bar, which is that gymnastic anterior flexion of the core. And then you have the row, which is the hinge pull. I love it all. Oh, man, I can't penalize.
0.5. And the reason I say 0.5 is because of the imbalance of the test. The imbalance, one of the things you had on there was imbalance of modality. Yeah. And it's not an imbalance of modalities necessarily, but it's an imbalance of what and you said it, and I don't even know if you necessarily meant to say it, but it's the fitness of your team is negated because you have to wait the entire time. Mm-hmm. The entire time. It's not even waterfall. It's like we are literally waiting. I'd have to say 0.5.
Heidi, Chase, not a fan of that. If you use the pink fluffy ones, I might change my mind.
Heidi needs to get some action, I think, is what it sounds like.
I think Heidi does get action. She's
aggressive. Oh, my goodness.
All right, mixed pairs, shared work. I'm a big shared work fan. Again, I love the format of do all this work together, get it done. I traditionally, I'm not a big fan of wait for your pair. I'm it might put some stress on the other pair. No, don't do that. You didn't need to do that. Just make them race, or make it all 150 and have mixed pairs working. You have to work with your pair synchro.
I don't necessarily agree with Matthew on this one.
For what?
He's talking about a 0.5 for the rower because the woman doesn't need to get on the rower. And the only reason I say that is because that's more of a strategic move.
Yeah.
It's very valid and it's very true. And I think that would be probably the call for most teams. But I wouldn't say that that I would take a deduction because of the strategic setup like that.
Because you might have a girl who could just absolutely crush and a dude who can't.
Right.
Those are exceptions to the rule.
And again, all you needed was a 1200. So if you have some tall girl that's a fantastic rower, okay, that's not going to hurt her. That she's just an aerobic machine.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Now, this suggestion is that having everyone row, whatever. Like if it was, say it was like 50 and 36 cows, and all 4 have to row. We're already waiting for each other anyways.
Right.
Now it's 50 and 36. So everybody has to row. Or 50-40.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Color it so the rest of it looks like that.
I would say 0.5 for format. I do not like this format.
Right.
I
do not like them semi-am
format. And I'm going to say 0.1 for just the row itself.
I'm that's fine. That's fine to have that on. It's fine to have that on there. I'm for that. I think I would have just said, again, I see that as a strategy play rather than a programming event play. But I definitely take the 0.5 though, because the 0.5 that's not a strategic play anymore. It's like you don't have any option. You are literally handcuffed. I'm not handcuffed to not have the women on there.
True.
I'm choosing to do that because I'm better at the row.
That's a total strategy thing.
You can leave it on there. I'm sure we're going to blend a 0.1 in there somewhere anyway.
I'm doing a 0.1. I don't like the row.
You can have, that's fine. We don't have to be identical.
All right. So we had a 0.5 format, 0.1. I have to keep a tally. So many things I have to keep track of.
Real fast. So far, this is the worst scored event. And I don't know if I agree with that. Which is going to. We can talk about it later, but I'm just noticing it right now, which makes me think I'm already setting up for the 1 point off of event 1.
Yeah.
So anyway, continue.
Yeah. Well, true. Oh yeah, the 0.5. I mean, yeah. I have more deductions coming from this one anyway. So. Okay. But that's later because we're not looking ahead. We're not looking behind.
Nope.
But if we did, we'll tell you guys at the end of the show. Team workout number 4. On paper. On paper.
This is important.
This is my favorite one. Head and shoulders above. Even the pair one, if the format thing wasn't a thing and it was just like follow the leader, whatever. Workout 3 actually would have been way better with a waterfall. Which, But on paper, 800-meter run, 100 pull-ups, all 4 sharing the work. Okay, everyone's ripping off 25, and we move on. It's a run test at this point. 800-meter run, 100 chest bar pull-ups, 800-meter run, 100 ring muscle-ups as a team. All right, it's a gigantic buy-in to 100 ring muscle-ups for time, but the runs matter the most up until you get to the end. On paper, I really like this. I like that they brought in rings instead of bar again. Yep. For my personal OCD problems, this is not going to a deduction. This is just Chase being dumb. Is that it really annoyed me that you went pull-up bar, rings. That bothered me. Right? If they didn't do bar muscle-ups, say in the open, I think it'd been really cool to see pull-up, chest bar, pull-up, bar muscle-up. It just would have looked visually for me. I'm not deducting from that. The rings is a much more difficult test for the athletes anyways, especially how hard you were going to have to run to make sure you got precious seconds. Because the top 10 teams, unless they just have someone doing more work, are not going to separate themselves on the pull-ups or the chest to bar pull-ups. Those are afterthoughts of movements. The rings are the gatekeeper. The runs give you time to separate yourself from the rest of the pack until you get to the rings.
Yeah, I'm really glad they put the rings in here. I'm really glad it was needed. It's been needed. They've been devoid in all the competitions so far. I don't have any deductions on this. Like, as far as what the event is, I don't have any deductions. Now, all the issues that will come up to try to figure it out, I can't put deductions on the programming based on that. But I do think I don't look at this and think that there are any irrelevant parts.
Correct.
Because all the pull-ups and then the chest to bar is going to add. Me and you and Jay were kind of talking about, what a ring muscle up and how it really hits. But if you take out all your pulling, like
which is cool. That's a good point. And your heart rate's elevated.
Yep.
The pull on the ring muscle up is not the hardest part. It's the dip out. So if you tax that coming into that part, okay.
So I don't have anything really bad to say about what, like, if this was an in-person event, it would be awesome.
Be the best event that they have.
It would be awesome.
Not even close. Yeah. And the reality is this would have been a great final event for the teams.
Yeah.
Cause it's the build up, right? It's like, all right, who got the 10 seconds on the run?
Yeah.
Can they keep that on the pull-ups and they're off?
Yeah. And
then who got it back on the net? Yeah.
Moving the chest piece down.
And if it's at the games, you got one A-frame, and then it's all going to the Zeus rig where the rings are waiting for them. Do you add a deduction, because we're deducting for format, written pieces of that? No, because that's not really a part of the programming.
What part? What are we talking about?
Running in an online competition.
No, because you're right. I don't think that's a product of programming or even format of the program. That's an issue that the judging will have to deal with. But I think that's a separate issue.
True.
Like, all the issues that we're talking about right now, if they were in, like, all the things we said about the other 4 events or the other 3 events up to this point, the issues would still be there if it was a live competition.
Yeah.
So strictly talking about the event itself.
That's a good point. Barkley, this workout is muscle-up biathlon-esque. Yes, but there's no penalty. Now, how cool would it be if we're taking online programming out of this discussion? We're at the CrossFit.
Right.
We're sitting on it. We're at whatever the arena is in Albany, New York, and it is every time you transition or break, there's some type of like shuttle run on the field of play as a team or the individual. Like, you come in for the run, since we're marching towards the rig, right? That's how I'm picturing it. The rig's at the starting line, everyone's at the finish line, and then you have A-frame number 1. So you're almost going in reverse. It's like every time you switch out, the people have to be at the starting mat. So it could be like a 20-yard run to get back to the starting mat and transition out. And now the chest bar pull-ups is even further away. Mm-hmm. And now the ring muscle-ups is it's 120 feet away from your team. I think that would be freaking sweet.
Yeah, it would.
Just awesome. People running, trying to, like, I got to hold on as long as I can, because if I break at 12 when I should have got 15, and now I have to run back and let them know that they have 3 extra reps to do somewhere. Versus that little quick rotation right underneath the rings. That'd be cool. That's cool.
That'd be fun.
I got none either. Being online, as you said, it's not a part of the actual programming. The event, like, this is a great event. I love this event. This is fantastic.
Awesome. Great job, guys.
You have to push everything. Like, you can't pay, like, if you pace the run, an 800-meter run,
you were never going to make that up on the pull-up.
Never making up that back, unless all your athletes are just freaks on the rings and you're like, hey, we just need to get there not tired. An 800-meter run, 3.5 to 4 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he can run fast that. I'm like, not for 3. Not at the intensity which you need to be on the pull-ups and the chest to bar. Like, that's unbroken as fast as you can, and then you rotate out. And then the strategy there is like, all right, our worst runner is going to go last. Now, should we do that? Because then they'll finish the pull-ups and then, or do they do more pull-ups?
Right. Yeah.
Right. It's like, all right, 35. Like, Bill, even at this day, now you're way better at pulling than I am. But we can roll in at an 800, and I can do 35, and you can do 35, and the last person just has to do, what, 30?
Yeah.
Then our shit.
Then our rhino,
gets to rest and be like, hey,
Clydesdale, get ready to run, man.
Yeah. I was like, don't worry, workout 5's coming. We can't utilize you as much as we would like to. Right. So this is actually a great talking point about the difference of what we're about to see in workout 5. Your strength athlete is just eating it in this entire workout. Mm-hmm. They are just sitting there paying the price for their skill set. And when it comes time, actually, this is a great transition because we said none for this. When it comes time for your opportunity to shine, if you've done 100 burpees, whatever, barbell, thrusters, and box jump overs, and wall balls and toes to bar, and you're just sitting there, when's it my turn? Well, when it's your turn, you don't get to do what you are the best at. We've decided to handcuff you, not to do another handcuff reference, Heidi. Or do I? You can't be as good as you are. Sorry. We didn't do it to anybody else. No other specialist was limited. Maybe by the time of their team, but still, right? And here we are. Team front squat total. This took us about 35 minutes to figure out the format when I could have just watched the video. Everybody gets 3 attempts. Every attempt you do, that weight is added to your team total. Your weights are already dictated to you on a sheet from 125 to 425, 20-pound jumps or 10-pound jumps, I think, and then it's 20-pound jumps at 285. All right? 285. Lucy, just wait. Just wait, Lucy. Just wait. Putting a cap, so this is part of the programming, right? Putting a cap on how much weight you're allowing people to lift, especially in an online competition where there is no bearing on, like, it's like, oh, we don't have enough equipment to put on the bar for all of these people at this in-person competition. Capping the weight at 425. Now, the only reason I made the CrossFit Games in 2010 is because they did cap the weight. So I have been a beneficiary of weight capped in a snatch ladder before. It was 1 snatch plus 2 overhead squats, and they capped the weight. This is going to blow y'all's minds, at 225. Now, back in 2010, there weren't a lot of dudes snatching 225. And now the girls are doing it. Just to put things into perspective, why CrossFit Games athlete is not in my Instagram profile. I mean, that to me is a easy 1 point off. And I want to
go a whole 1 point.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. We gave 0.5 for a 30-pound weight discrepancy in event 1.
No, you're right. You're right. I felt that it was extremely odd to put those weights in there. Like if the whole purpose of this event is to have everyone lift as heavy as they can, mm-hmm. then that whole chart was a waste of paper. just let them lift. Let them get 3 lifts in, whatever their numbers are. Like, there's not going to be any difference in adding. The adding is still going to be there. So who cares either what your top end is going to be, and then to try to make it your tie break for that is going to be the speed at which you do the 3. I just think that like that element was like this cute little something. We're looking at, there's an element of fitness in there, and it's like, that's so dumb for what you're trying to do. We already did fitness stuff.
Right.
Like, the whole purpose of this is not about fitness. It's about pure strength. Pure strength.
Right.
So let them have their pure strength. So, so you're 1 point. So you're saying garbage event? Or are you saying
No,
0.5
I'm
and
saying
0.5?
that programming of fixed capping the weight is a 1 point deduction. Just the weight table itself. You're like, I mean, you say all the times, like, don't tell me how to compete.
Don't tell me how to race, for sure. For sure.
So it would be like,
I'm for that.
It would be like, all right, and Lito's talking about this a little bit, and there's a different example between the 800-meter runs as a team. It's not part of the total time. If this were, all right, team 5K, and I think Angelo made this analogy, but team 5K, total time combined. But I'm not allowed to run faster than 18 minutes. That's what this is.
Right.
Or team total, max unbroken chest to bar pull-ups. But you're not allowed to do more than 40. That's what that is. Not, we shared the work and we're doing it as fast as we can.
Okay. I am for the 1 point. I think that I saw
it changes.
I think I saw multiple parts of it to make the 1 point. But I'm for that. I'm good with the 1 point. I'm good with that.
You're saying, I don't mind the weight table.
I do, because to me,
that's funny.
Well, because this is a strength event. Why are you telling me that I can only lift these weights?
Yes.
Because it's the table is the exact same thing.
I don't love the weight table.
But the cap is on the table, and that's why I have a problem with the table. Why are you saying if I'm on the weakest thing on there was 125 pounds, I have to start there, or 145?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I can do 135. You're not going to let me?
Right.
Okay, which is the same thing as, so now you're pigeonholing me into what lifts I want to do or can do or should do. And then you're capping your big dogs up at the top. And you're saying, like, I don't want you to do more than this. I just want you to do 3 reps fast. Dumb. That like, all of a sudden now we're on 2 totally different sides of what we're trying to do here. This is not a fitness event. This is not a complex where you're like, what are we going to see when you're under load? If you're going to do that, then make it 3 reps unbroken, not 3 individual lifts.
But even then, we looked back in 2021 at the individual quarterfinals, and guys were doing 450 plus or 4.
I know exactly. Exactly. They should be allowed to lift. Let them lift. Let them lift. Let them eat cake.
Let them eat cake. I was thinking about that too. All right.
Oh yeah, I'm good with that.
Bill, I know you're pressed against the clock here.
Yeah, it's okay.
I didn't think it'd take an hour.
I didn't know if it would either.
Skip to the end. So we have total of 3.6 deductions on individual events. All right. Now we look at overall comp stuff. So for me, and let me know if this is a 0.1 or 0.5, is thrusters in event 2 and wall ball shots in event 3.
Okay, well, I will go 0.5 because as you're saying that, I say clean and jerks in event 1 and dumbbell cleans and jerks and thrusters in event 2.
Yeah. So like movement pattern,
totally.
back to back.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one. And then
At least one, dude.
No. That's like 0.5 for the back-to-back and then
Okay,
0.5
okay.
again.
0.5.
So now
Yeah,
it's a 1.
Yeah.
And I'm giving now this is the overall competition, creativity, experience, and online. I know why they want online running to work. I really do. It will open up so much more fun stuff to do in the programming. I get it. Now is not the time for that. If you wanted to see how online running worked, either do it with the age groupers or the Community Cup, not to send 20 teams to the CrossFit Games.
I think, I mean, it's not a programming thing, but it's like you just
Yeah, but this is not
seriously,
like our
you
overall
shot
overview.
yourself in the foot massively. Like, and I don't even care how honorable everybody is. Like, there's no way of not having hundreds of pitfalls on that.
Yeah.
On one event.
Do you give this is Matthew, this is one of them. Do you give another, what point do you give is like front rack clean and jerk, front rack power clean, front rack shoulder overhead, front rack thruster, front rack wall ball shot, front rack front squat? Every weight built.
No, I get it. I get it.
Weightlifting movement we did is in the front rack.
Yeah. No, I know.
Every single one of them.
I guess I wouldn't. Yes, it is. I'm more looking at pattern.
I mean, we hit the patterns.
Yeah, I get it. Since we are hitting the patterns, it's I agree with it, but like I think we already hit it with the deductions.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I think. But yeah, it is a lot of front rack, but it's all because it's the same movement. It's
Right.
all the same movement.
Right.
Now
we did squat. We pulled not a whole lot of gymnastics pressing, but we did a lot of pressing. Burpee, clean and jerk.
I mean, we got toes to bar,
shoulder
pull-ups,
overhead. Yeah.
chest to bar, ring muscle up.
Yeah. People wanted to see a bit more pressing on gymnastics, but pressing was accomplished.
I got it. Yeah.
All right. So I got 0.5 for movement patterns, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and then the overall 1 for online.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah. The only heavy weight that we had at all was the final lift.
Yeah.
No heavy barbell cycling, no shoulder to overhead, nothing heavy cleaned. I mean, like we're 135 and 100 is for the men is what we cleaned.
A lot of light.
Everything was light. Everything was light.
Cycling with the med ball, cycling with the dumbbell, cycling with the barbell.
Light, too light. And the heavy, yeah, see, that's going to be another one, big one for me. Again, these are large loads, long distances quickly. This is not the open. Everything that we did weight-wise, mine, even with the squats, is open.
Yeah.
All open. Yes. These are all open workouts. Oh,
I still have a 0.5 for that. Because it's all lightweight, except for one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then I have a total of overall 3.5, which is. Oh my god!
Last time I was trying to figure out how to get the points, and now we have
no points. That is a 2.9.
Okay. I'm sorry, man. You can't say it. You're not allowed. I will say it. It was shit.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
I would. There were some good events. There were some great open events, some very cool local throwdown team comp events. They had one event that was good, one, and you couldn't do it live. Or you have it has to be done live.
Oops.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Sorry.
All right. There you go. Dude, this grading scale gets tough in a hurry.
I will say that I'm really glad that this one was tough, because the last time I was trying to figure out how, I'm like, dude, we're gonna all of a sudden everyone's a thumb up.
Yeah.
Like, nope. Nope.
Oh man. All right. that qualified your top 20 teams online to the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
Which is also why we're so tough. This is quarterfinals going to semifinals in person.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's
Different.
and dude, that is why. That is why the
Different.
things you did not. Yes, you have very fit teams that are going to make it.
Right.
But like
your fittest teams will qualify, so who cares? No, that's not that. You don't get away from that.
No.
Yeah, the quarterfinals. I don't want to extend this. I'd have been like C.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody got to do it.
Exactly.
Think of all the teams. All right.
Dude, that's what I mean. That's why it's such a big deal, because it was too important to have it be like this. Too important.
Yep. All right.
Sorry.
That's it, folks. Thanks for joining. We'll see you guys on Wednesday, where we're going to analyze the programming of Wadland Fest. That'll be Wednesday, 12:30. We'll buy ourselves a bit more time so we don't make Bill even more late for his class than he already is. See you guys on Wednesday.